We got to go show it and prove it every time we got a chance. You guys have an opportunity this morning to go prove that.
I'ma keep winning.
We're going to make plays, and we win on defense.
You wanna go play yourself? You try to save yourself. You wanna go play yourself. I'ma keep. You can try to save yourself. You wanna go play yourself. You can try to save yourself. You wanna go play yourself.
Goal is to get to the crown. So you guys earn your paid bid to the national championship in Florida. So we hope to see you guys there to come and compete. Congratulations.
Welcome into the DR Roundtable. Ben Spicer joined by Adam Sandoval and CJ Gilbert. And if you couldn't tell, we're keeping it a little casual here tonight on the show. We're mixing it up a little bit. We're coming from the DR7 home base for the weekend here in Davenport as we get set to head up to the Villages. Stacked tournament, nearly 100 teams once again. Last time we had 120. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. We're going to talk about that, some of the teams, some of the games we're looking forward to. But we wanted to talk about the season so far, the 2025 DR7 season coming off a tournament in Houston last weekend where we had 100 teams, 6 different age groups, and a lot of fun out there. So, yeah, let's get into it, guys. What do you say? How's everyone doing? How you guys doing?
I mean, doing good. Had good travels. Weather's going to be, really good compared to what we've had in the past. So I think that's going to be – we're going to see some good action out there. And overall, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, honestly.
For sure. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I mean, first time in Florida this year. First time
for you
at the Villages this year. That's for me. So I'm excited to see. I mean, a lot of teams we've covered before, previous years are coming back. So, and I've heard y'all been talking about a lot of these Florida teams. So I'm really excited to see them in person and, see if we can crown a champion.
Have you guys took a dip in the pool yet?
No, man, look, so I see that it's kind of like got a little section like a jacuzzi tub.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I might just do everything. We got water slides outside and stuff like that. I'm just like, man, we about to turn up. You know what I'm saying? So literally, I was thinking about getting in the pool after the podcast, honestly. So if y'all want to hop in, come on.
It costs, I think it costs $25 a day to heat up the pool. So if anyone wants to donate, call us and have us living in luxury out here. We
have a great time. Yeah.
Hey, I think we got Mark Henry with us too, right? Mark, are you there? Can you hear us?
Detroit basketball.
Hey, they've won 8 straight.
Yes, sir.
They've won 8 straight. I had to rep. I'm glad you pointed that out instead of the floaty that I had on. But yeah,
yes, sir.
They're in the playoff race, aren't they?
They are. They're the 6th seed right
Look
now.
at that. Look at that.
They won, 8, 9 in a row?
Let's go. 8 in a row. 8 in a row, guys. Mark, how you doing?
Absolutely. Man, I'm chilling, man, doing a family thing this weekend. Miss y'all boys, but you know what it is. I'm staying down with it. Always on the platform. You know what it is.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you with us. We're going to talk a little bit about the Houston tournament last weekend. Hey, we got to start, Mark, while we've got you on here with us, because we had to dip out early last week. Hustle Inc. 405, man. They said they run DR7, and they've kind of got a point, man. They have a point. I'm not gonna lie. They were running stuff. They won the crown last year. They went undefeated last weekend in Houston. They looked good, man. They're looking like one of the best 18U teams in the country, I think. Mark, what do you think?
I have to absolutely agree with that. Shout out to Cruz Campbell. Big weekend. We're talking about a guy that can spin it. And the amazing thing about what Cruz Campbell did was his ability to spin it in the rain on Saturday with a heavy ball, dealing with the cold conditions, still able to throw dimes on the spot. And the chemistry between Casey Thompson, the offensive coordinator,
Texas
and
legend.
Cruz Campbell is the coach on the field. I think, when we start talking about the best coordinators, a little nugget there, best coordinators, best play callers in DR7, you have to put Casey Thompson right at the top.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like 405. I had a chance to stay back as well. So, I mean, like Mark was saying, Cruz Campbell is one of those quarterbacks where I felt like he kind of solidified himself as one of those top quarterbacks in our circuits. I want to shout out Ben Kolar, too, big tight end. That was kind of like that target for Cruz down in the late game window of that championship there. So, I mean, they had a lot of guys that I feel like on that 405 Hustle Inc. team that's going to compete. Some guys that, or some teams rather, that I think in 18U deserves kind of like some credit. Of course, that since we're in Florida, Gridiron Elite, I felt like they're a team that, Noah Grubbs is led that team to championships, and unfortunately they lost against Team Tampa the last time in Villages.
Close game though.
Yeah, really close game.
Yeah.
We got a chance to call that game as well. So Reese Brush, that was the MVP of that game. I felt like he did really good in that 18U championship as well. So I mean, we got some good 18U teams this year, and I can't wait to really see what the Villages has in store this week.
Adam, did you get the chance to see Hustle Inc. 405, or how do they kind of stack up compared to the other 18U teams from what you've seen?
They surprised me. I mean, I hadn't seen Hustle Inc. very much. I mean, we saw them at the Crown, and then again last weekend. Casey Thompson's a signal caller. We talked about one of the best play callers we've seen on the 7-on-7 circuit, and they did it. One thing that stood out is it seemed like they never not connected. They just moved around the field so flawlessly. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. Did they score almost every drive the whole tournament?
Yeah, I mean, just being there, like, it seemed like every time that Cruz Campbell touched the ball, like, whether it was because they got two brothers, both of them, lane, but they're receivers. So literally on the first drive, I think that they scored first in the championship game, and then like literally, like I said, Ben Kolar. I don't believe he scored, but he kind of like led the drive down there to get them in position to score on the next drive. But I mean, it was legit like perfect execution in the championship game, and that's something that when you're 7-0 going 8-0 into that championship weekend or whatever, it's like legit like they are executing on all cylinders, and it looks like you said, we talk about OCs and things like that, like. Coach Casey is one of those guys where he gets those guys in line, and he knows how to, dial up some good plays. So I think it was they defended their crown. They're continuing to defend their crown, and they deserve to talk noise.
Got to give a shout out to Dad Charles Thompson as well. He's the one who kind of spearheaded things with Hustle Inc. 405. Got connected with Tony Ballard from Hustle Inc. in Atlanta. They hooked up. We actually had the story on that on the YouTube channel. Me and Jonathan Mumphrey with the dedicated podcast. Got the chance to talk to Mr. Thompson. So check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, shout out to Hustle Inc. 405, man. Looking forward to seeing them not only coming up when we go up to the Midwest here in a couple weeks, but at the Crown National Championships as well, to see how they stack up. They already won it last year. And it looks like they would be my favorite right now. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
I'm about to say, that was something that I took away from, like, one of the things that I took away from the whole tournament, too. Like, that is an Oklahoma team.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Normally, like, we were just talking about this in the car off script. Like, Texas, Georgia, California, Bama, Louisiana, like, they're known for having, football. They're football states. But for what Oklahoma done in our circuits and, previous years, like, we've seen some dogs. Yeah. Like, even when I could think back to what's my guy's name? From Sooner 7. He was a receiver from Booker T. Washington.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name right, but he ended up committing to Oklahoma State or Texas Tech or Texas A&M or something. But he was I think his name was like Micah something. I can't think of
Micah Tease.
Micah Tease. There we go. Micah Tease. So he was like a 4-star athlete. I'm just like, bro, like, this is like different stuff that we never
Yeah.
really think about. Like Oklahoma has some dogs out here, so it was really telling to see 405 do what they've done over this past year and then what they done last week.
And Oklahoma has some of the national powerhouse programs, man. You look at Bixby. I mean, they're always year in, year out.
Bixby,
They're in the mix of not just Oklahoma winning it all. I think they've won like a crazy amount of state titles up there. But in terms of the national picture, like they're always in the conversation too. So I didn't mean to spend a whole lot of time here on our 18U ranks in Houston, but we got to talk a lot about Coach the Thompson coaches and Hustle Inc. Man, they really impressed us last week. Chargers Elite. I thought 15U was pretty stacked. Chargers Elite comes out on top in 15. We saw they kind of struggle in our first tournament in Waller early on in the year. They definitely did not struggle last weekend in Houston. They got it done. And we've got to give some praise to CJ. He held it down on the Twitter Spaces. I think that was Monday night.
I think it was Monday night.
You did a great job, man. You got the chance to talk with the Chargers Elite coach. Also got the chance to talk with Chaz Thompson and some other guys on there as well. Talk about that show a little bit, how it went, and is that something we can expect to see moving forward?
Yeah, no, we could definitely expect to see it moving forward. I know that we're all looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having you two guys back on it with the show with us and everything. I think it's a group team effort to kind of get those spaces out there and get those coaches out there to kind of like show their mission. Like when we talked to Coach Keith from Slimy Boys, like him being 23, 24 years old, I believe he just had a birthday like the other day. Just kind of like being one of those younger guys that's kind of like hey, like I'm a big brother mentor to these younger guys that's on the team. So I think that's important to have kind of like those types of story time elements in the Twitter Spaces. But yeah, I was very impressed with what Chargers Z Elite did. Those coaches know what they got going on, and Peyton Smith and Josh Wells are two of those guys where I'm definitely watching those guys.
Absolutely. I know we got the chance to talk with the Chargers Elite 15U coach on the Twitter Spaces the other night. Anything else you wanted to add about Chargers Elite? They look pretty good. I know 15U is kind of a division that's up in the air for us in terms of who we would have at number one, but Chargers Elite definitely stole the show last weekend in Houston.
Yeah, all around a great program. Coach, the coach's name, I got to talk to him as well. Junior Rodriguez. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
He really showed he brought his team finally together. Like we said, they struggled in Waller, but coming into this tournament, they came in, didn't bat an eye. They were, like you said, they were trailing and they struggled, but they didn't bat an eye. They keep marching forward. I think even when I talked to him during the game, he said, "I just got to tell my kids we got to execute. We're here for a reason. Let's finish the job." And I mean, it was very, very eye-opening and exciting to see them, get a championship for his program and putting his whole team on notice across the board.
Right, and like you said, Coach Junior, I remember seeing those guys at the Waller championship, tournament, and like you said, Ben, they didn't really do that well, but it was just a team that I just saw that I saw.
It was cold though. I didn't.
Right,
do
yeah,
that well.
right. It was cold. It was cold. It was breezy out there too.
Yeah.
So it was like I just was watching some of the players, and I was like, they got some dogs on their team, But like I said, they didn't really do that well, and I was like, whenever we do get an opportunity to see them, if they do come back, I'm gonna be interested to see what they do. And I talked to Coach Junior and a couple other guys on staff, and I was like, man, like I gotta talk to y'all. And then literally the cool part about it is Peyton Smith, like after we talked, like we made a connection, and his mom came over there, and then like 2 days later, like he got an offer. So it was pretty
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
It was like pretty cool. It was a pretty cool
awesome.
moment. So that was kind of like one of those. That's one of those stories that I like. So
For sure.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that Chargers Elite team's going to be fun to watch as the season moves forward. Hope to see them at the Crown coming up April 12th and 13th here in the Villages. I guess we're not really here in the Villages, but we're close. We're in Florida. We're in the same state, so we can say we're here in the Villages.
Right.
A little different scene tonight here on the DR Roundtable. We're not an early check-in. As we said, a little more casual show tonight. Ben Spicer, CJ Gilbert, Adam Sandoval, Mark Henry as well. He called in all the way from Texas, so we've got a stacked audience here for you. A stacked lineup, I should say. So appreciate you guys being here. Help us out. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, because we've got live streams coming up all weekend as well, not just on Crown Sunday as well. But we'll talk about that coming up, the schedules, the games that we have on the slate. Let's stick to our Houston defending champs. Let's go to the 14U ranks now. Cat Takeover. Man, Ansel Jennings, you got the chance to see him since he was a young pup in Ruston. You interviewed him. Tell us a little bit about that, his growth.
Yeah, he's definitely maturing as a young quarterback. I feel like Coach Chaz Thompson is one of those coaches that's going to get you right even if you're, not all the way put together when you come to the program. He's not looking for, guys that are all the way, 4 and 5 stars. He's looking for those dogs. So I feel like with him, he's kind of fell into the culture at the right hands, being, since we've seen him and, I've seen him in 10U, just to see him grow up and now 14, even competing in the 18U ranks. I thought he did well, especially against a team like Slimy Boys, where we know that they can put up points. So underratedly, their defense did really what they were supposed to do. So Landon Damio, I know that was a guy that you guys had kind of, kept talking about Damio and things like that. So I was just impressed by the whole group. And like I said, from across the board, from 18 all the way down to 8, we can be very proud about the product that we put out and the teams that we have that kind of come here too.
I think you had the call of the weekend. You said Damio was dominating. I like that. That was good.
Yeah. So I'm about to say, I tried that one, and then I tried the cash one too. So I don't know if that one landed as good, but the Damio one was. I thought it was pretty.
Mark,
smooth.
he's been hanging out with you too much with all these puns that he's been using on the broadcast. You're rubbing off on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what it is. That's my guy, CJ. I'm gonna lock his game all the time.
Hey, Mark, I know you talked with Chaz Thompson, founder of Cat Takeover, over the weekend, and he's kind of branched out a little bit. We talked about how deep they were, how many teams Cat Takeover's brought, and they've always been that way. But it seems like he's kind of expanded his horizons a little bit there with Cat Takeover, right? He's got a new team that's not just from the area.
Absolutely. CG3, I had a chance to see those guys play. And they made it, I believe, to the semis right before the championship game. Bryson Thrower from North Point High School, 2027 receiver, 6'4", about 189 pounds, had one of the catches of the weekend right in front of me. But I was zoomed in too close on the camera. But oh man, I was kicking myself afterwards. But he made a one-handed catch right in front of me, and that team was really, really good. Had some other guys, but I asked Coach Chaz about that, and it's one of those things where you give an opportunity to other kids around the state because, they're centrally located in the Houston area, in that south part of Houston, southwest, south side of Houston, the Galveston County, Pearland area. There's a lot of talent there, Power 4 talent. And, a lot of times he gets some of those guys at a young age and they go through his program until they graduate. Well, this time, this team was made up of guys from Killeen, North Texas, Austin, so surrounding areas. So it's giving those guys a chance to get that spotlight and that exposure that they may not get on Friday nights. And that in turn turns over to things that helps them on Friday nights.
Adam, 14U was a dream matchup, man. Texas against Florida. Slimy Boys came all that way, traveled so hard, and it was a battle too. I think Slimy Boys, that's a program on the rise, and obviously you guys got the chance to talk with their coach on Spaces. But just talk about that 14U championship game, man. That was a lot of fun. Yeah,
it was one of the most exciting games we've had on that weekend. Seeing especially a Florida team come to Texas and Slimy Boys coming into that tournament, they realistically they talked a lot on social media.
They wanted all the smoke.
I love it. I love
exactly.
It.
They wanted the smoke, and even Coach Key said it himself. He wants to come and leave his mark, and I think they did. A lot of and everyone knows in Texas, football is air. We're breathing it every day, so they take pride in it. But I think it really did open eyes. Like these Florida kids, they came over here and they ran the table, went to the championship and everything. But as we saw, Cat Takeover was able to take on the championship. Yeah. And what stood out, what I like, is we give Chaz a lot of lip, for him yelling and how he acts. But honestly, when we talked to him on Spaces, he kind of I actually got to realize that he said it's his coaching style.
Yeah.
He tells his parents. He tells his parents. He's hard on them. Yeah. He tells them exactly how it is. He's realistic because he tells them it's how it is in college. It's cutthroat in college.
Right.
He's not going to baby anybody because when it gets down to it later down the road, when they're 18, 19 years old, that's how they're going to be treated, and they got to be ready for it.
He's a very raw individual.
Yeah.
That's something I learned about Chaz for sure. He's a very raw individual. He rubs some people the wrong way, but if you're cut from that cloth, you're really you know what it means. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's from your neck of the woods.
Louisville legend, Chaz Thompson. Shout out to Coach Thompson. Let's go down to the 12, 10, and 8U ranks, and we'll skip over 12U. We'll come back to that. Sorry, YCA, but 10U, 8U. You got to talk about DEF CON, man.
Yeah.
DEF CON, and they came out on top over high-profile athletes in both of those matchups, 10 and 18U or 8U championships. These are two programs that we talked about it a lot on the stream, man. Like, they have maintained success for so long in the youth ranks, and that's hard to do, I feel like. 10 and 8U, and they've just sustained success. But we saw DEF CON do this at our Dallas tournament last year in 2024. They came and they won, I think it was 3 age groups.
Yeah.
They won 2 age groups. last week, 10-8U. So, Adam, just kind of talk about the DEF CON program, and Mark, you can chime in after this. But this is a program that has, again, not just 8 and 10U, but whatever team they sign up for, whatever age group, they're going to bring it with them.
Yeah, DEF CON is one of, I'd say, the staples of 7-on-7, especially coming out of Texas. They were one of the first teams that were able to take 7-on-7 nationally when it comes out of Texas. And seeing they've built a program to where they're going to build and work with these kids starting as young as 8U, and they're going to produce them all through their careers. And with DEF CON Texas, they're based out of San Antonio, but they've gotten such a big name. They're able to get some kids from Houston to come play for them, maybe a little bit from Dallas. But they've built a organization that's just been so great to see and witness over the years. And so DEF CON as a whole, again, and same thing, can't forget about HPA. They played HPA in both tournaments, in both age divisions, and they've become a name to know in recent years now that, they're a team that's going to represent essentially Houston.
Right. Championship was crazy, too.
It was.
Overtime,
overtime game and everything.
So, but yeah, both programs have solidified themselves as a staple in both their regions and in Texas, and I know we're going to see them again with many years to come.
And especially in the youth, too. That's really where you get your bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? You're really technical, and you can really kind of, mold the kids into what they're going to become, young, great adults, not just, individual kids on the field, but just having good role models like Coach Jeremy. I really got a chance to really, talk to DEF CON, coaches and stuff like that, and just really getting to know them being outside of just a perennial, program in 7A. So it was very eye-opening just to see kind of like those 10U and 8U teams go back and forth like that, and really, like you said, Adam, it's really more than just football for those programs.
Mark, anything you want to add? I know you've been very familiar with the DEF CON program over the years, and they've consistently turned out winners at all age groups, all levels.
I'm going to say 2 words. Noah Baker. He don't got nothing. This kid was amazing. I was standing next to Adam, and I was just going crazy during the stream and that was my MVP of that game. And he got plays on defense, but his ability to track the ball and make highlight reel catches and high point the football at such a young age shows that he's, just head and shoulders above guys in his age group. He was phenomenal. Just every catch, every moment, and he was a big reason that DEF CON made it all the way through on Sunday. The notch, the meter turns up on Crown Sunday, and Noah Baker was one of those guys that turned his meter way up.
Yeah, he balled out, bro.
Hey, since you're dropping 10U DEF CON players, I'm going to name some 8U players. And see, this is where DR7's different from all those other circuits out here. Are you going to tune into a podcast from someone else, and they're going to be talking about 8U players? I don't think so. Zane Schmidt, quarterback for DEF CON, he was impressive. A number of receivers. He didn't just have one guy he was targeting, but several guys who came up. I know Jace Johnson had a big pick 6. I think that came in the pool play. He came up big as well. Mason Valise was nice. And then Jaquan McBride, man. Seemed like he caught everything. Andre Cooper had a touchdown as well. So just so many guys on that DEF CON team, man. They're going to be fun to watch. I hope they pull up to the Crown as well. Coming up April 12th and 13th here in the Villages because they were a fun team. We can't go without mentioning in the 12U ranks, YCA. Now, what does YCA stand for?
Young
confident athletes. And they were impressive, man. Fast Sports, we saw them in the pool play stream. And this is not to knock Fast Sports because they were impressive, but YCA, I think, really showed us something in that 12U championship. Fast Sports kind of ran through everyone. I think their closest margin in their game was like 25 points up to that point. And YCA ended up coming out on top by 2. So YCA, we kind of noted this during the stream, and I don't have both coaches' names, but it seemed like they had our guy from Team Zap and our guy from the CC Raiders that we saw a couple years ago, Coach Bocanegra, that had combined forces almost. And it was an all-star coaching staff, I think we said during the stream, but Riker Bocanegra was amazing. He had several guys coming through for him as well, but that YCA 12U team was impressive.
It was legit. It was probably, I think it set the tone for what we was expecting to see down the road. Like you said, you hit it on the head, Ben. Riker Bocanegra, I felt like he really did. He was slinging. He was, slicing and dicing. DJ Arabini. It was a lot of different guys. Mason Cedillo. So it was they've had, like, for a 12U bunch, like, you don't really see. Usually, you just have like one guy that is that guy, like we just said, Noah Barker, from that one team that is just above, cut from different cloths. But I felt like that YCA team had like a bunch of guys that really, they can probably play up. You know what I'm saying? Like they can, like in the next 6 months to a year, like we might see them in a 14U game. So it'll be crazy to kind of think that way. But I think that they're a really legitimate team, and I mean they're definitely confident. I know that for sure.
Okay, here's the fun part. Let's move on now. Let's kind of gather our thoughts here from the whole season. Okay, kind of where we stand. So. We're not going to dive into the specifics. I know you guys were kind of on the spot, and if you want to name your teams, that's okay. We can do that too, because I've got mine here.
Oh, we can go hot seat.
But I think we're all going to agree with Hustle Inc. 405 and 18U. I don't. Is anyone going to interject on that one?
I mean, I can always play devil's advocate, but
okay. All right. Let's hear it then. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Come on.
I can always go that way.
Shoot your shot.
I just think that we didn't really see. I think Gridiron Elite is a team that, we know Noah Grubbs. We've seen Noah Grubbs in pad football and 7-on-7. I think mixed and match wise, they're kind of built similar. Can't forget about, Drew Follett. I think he's one of those guys where,
X Factor.
X Factor in the game. Kind of like they built kind of like 405. Like they got a good quarterback. They got, some guys on the perimeter, not too crazy, but just some guys that can stretch the field. And then they got that big tight end. So I just feel like it may, if that was a matchup for me, like it would come down to defensive stuff. Still 405, I think, is more like efficient. So I would probably lean more 405. But Gridiron Elite is definitely, I like that team. I like them a lot.
So the reason we're having this discussion, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm not good at my job tonight. We are going to be unveiling rankings soon, but we were originally going to do that this weekend, but we had the reschedule of the New Orleans tournament. So that'll probably come maybe next week. We're kind of waiting to see, fill things out, take a look at some other teams. But be on the lookout for that. We'll have some rankings coming out soon. This is just our favorite in each age group. And 15U, I don't know.
You don't know? I'm like, question mark.
I don't know. So here's the dilemma with the 15U. So we've got Chargers Elite, who won last weekend, but they were not impressive in Waller. I don't know how far they made it, but, I mean, they weren't in the championship. We do know that. So then you've got the Battle Cats, who won in Waller in the 15U ranks. They were impressive on our stream, but they end up falling to Slimy Boys. Okay, so Slimy Boys won the championship here in Florida, but they did not play in the championship in Houston. So it's just so many factors at play that it's like it would be hard. And it's always hard, of course, because you always have teams who are like, oh, we should be number one. And most of the time they have a good case. But here it's like, I don't know, man. I don't even know where you go. So I'm not saying anyone. You guys can say it and get in trouble.
I'll let you go first, bro.
Okay, there we go.
I don't have anyone either. It's just
Where do
too
you go?
crazy, but...
Gotta put the hammer down on this.
You want me to put it down?
Yeah, put it down on.
Meet us in the crown.
Oh,
I like it.
We need all y'all
There we
here.
go.
Let's do it.
Settle the smoke
Crown
on-
the number one champion in 14U.
Mark, are we missing anyone? Is there anyone that we've left out here that
Well,
you want to?
let's go back to 18U. Ignite Athletics in North Crowley
Oh.
was very dominant the entire weekend.
Wall Street would like a word, though.
I
took 'em
understand,
down.
but I really like Ignite Athletics. You gotta give some credit to guys that make it to the championship. Maybe they don't win it,
Okay.
but they got there for a reason. I like that team. I happened a chance to watch them on both days. 15U, look, you can't get you. Chargers Elite was in the semifinals in Waller, so they finally.
I
Okay,
felt
there
like
we
they
go, there we
were.
go.
I felt like they were, but I couldn't confirm. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
they were in the semifinals.
Okay.
And then you got to look at those guys from the Slimy Boys as well.
Yeah.
In 15. So I think Slimy Boys has got one of the better secondaries
Oh my
that
God.
you want to watch. They have a great secondary. Those guys really play sticky D.
Yes.
And they're ferocious, and they're gonna let you know about it.
Yes. Yes, for sure. I mean, mine. I'm kind of tight too. I do like Chargers Elite. I like Josh Wells. Like I said before, I really think it comes down to just overall quarterback play and just how you can attack, these defenses and stuff. I think the best defense you probably would say is the Slimy Boys. I think they do have one of the better secondaries in our tournament, in our circuit. I think something drives me to the battle cast though. Like I think that
Cash Adams is what drives you to the battle cast.
But I think Cash Adams is
and Holt Goodwin.
a heck of a player. Holt Goodwin is a leader. We seen him pool play. I mean, we didn't really get to see, Championship Sunday. They failed the mark last week, but overall, man, I think that I'm impressionable by how they lead each other and how they kind of hold each other accountable. I like that about the battle cast. I do like the defense of the Slimy Boys as well. And Chargers the Elite, I got love for Peyton Smith and Josh Wells as well. So I think 15. I've always said this, and I'll stick with this. I think 15U is our best, like as far as like close, like how competitive it is. I think 15U is my favorite. At least is my favorite.
Okay, so 14U is my favorite.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why, because we've got 3 teams that I think have a case in this one, and that's the 813 Hawks, who we'll see this weekend, who absolutely destroyed everyone they played in our last Villages tournament. I mean, it was, shout out to Coach AJ there. And then Texas Epic, man. I think they've got the best individual player in 14U in Jaden Herndon.
Yeah.
But then Coach Thompson and Cat Takeover would like a word as well. I mean, all the length and size that they had at receiver. Good Lord, it looked like they had 18U receivers out there playing on that 14U team.
It was crazy. And like you said, between 14 and 15, we have some good ball. Like, we really do have some good ball. I don't think it can go lightly what Jaden Herndon did at, Waller. I think that was really really good. And Texas Epic, Coach Dunn, y'all call him the Dunn father. Like he's always one of those guys that he's on a case of being, Coach of the Year, OC of the Year, whatever you want to call him of the year. Like he's definitely, Texas Epic is one of those programs. And then like you said, Cat Takeover came in and really showed why they are still one of the better teams in our DR7 circuits and in Texas. So I mean it's definitely a close one.
Mark, what's your thoughts on the 14U ranks? Are you going against the Don father?
I'm not. I was going to say we're going to have to get into Florida in some form of fact. So here's the thing about Coach Dunn. He does not have a defensive coordinator. He does everything. So, there's no DC. He's the head coach. He's the DC. He's everything to those guys. And you mentioned Jaden Herndon. He's going to be a national recruit, and he's only in 2028. He is that guy. He makes it look so easy and so effortless. And you got to look at Austin Hill as well, a guy that's been coming up through the DR7 ranks at the quarterback position. Beast Texas we talk about, Longview Lobos. Both of those guys are going to be on Friday nights in Texas. Absolutely. So, I mean, it's one of those things where the talent is there. Listen, Coach Chaz has already said he's coming to Florida, so everybody better be on upset alert for sure.
I can't wait to see that, bro. That's going to be some good stuff.
We mentioned Jaden Herndon. Obviously, he dominated that weekend in Dallas, but I think we got to give a shout-out, and CJ can attest to this. MJ Jones Jr., man, for the 813 Hawks, had 4 touchdowns in that championship game. He was unstoppable. So just so much talent in the 14U ranks. Adam, are we missing anyone? Who are you going with? We'll put you on the spot here.
Out of everyone y'all have said, I've had them in my list as well, just off 813 Hawks, which if y'all said, but, I mean, as far as what I've seen so far, I will take Cat Takeover.
Ooh.
I'll take Cat Takeover right now. Reason being is because they've not looked back with AJ at quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people probably look at him size wise. Right. Really, probably count Cat Takeover out.
Yeah.
But AJ doesn't.
He's a
doesn't
winner,
mind
man.
it. I mean, beneficial with Chaz behind him to help him out. But they've been a team that's I've seen come over adversity already. So that's why I'm going to put them as my number 1 right now.
I'm about to say I would one up you, Adam, and I would say that is the reason why people like Chaz. Like he really gets the most out of his players. And I mean, if they're in a championship game in 14U, I wouldn't put it past them to get the most out of them in that championship game. So we'll have to see. I think, like you said, Ben, to kind of wrap all of it up, 14U is a really good division as well.
Yeah, well, I'll go 12 to 8U real quick, and you guys can interject if you have any thoughts. But 12U, so I wrote down high-profile athletes because they dominated in Waller. We didn't see them last week, so I'm going to change. I'm going to change on the fly. I'm going to change it up. Go Team Elite, all the smoke. You remember them, that overtime win over Bay Area Buckeyes? That was a battle. I think that was one of our best, if not the best championships that we've seen all season. I think it went into 2 overtimes. Bay Area Buckeyes, obviously, were extremely talented, but Isaiah Jones, Jace Vorlicki, what that team did, they're going to be fun to watch. I've got them circled. I'm going to check them out this weekend, but I would say they're a favorite to win it all this weekend, so I'm going to put them in 12U. If anyone disagrees, feel free to interrupt.
No, I felt like that was a really good team. That was a team that we watched, and they was really, between Vorlicki and I can't remember what was my receiver name?
Isaiah Jones, I think.
It was either Isaiah Jones or the other guy that literally just froze the defender.
Yeah, Isaiah Jones.
Okay. So that team is legit. So I'm gonna have to put more eyes on them outside of just just seeing them in our stream pool play game. So I think that's a really good pick, Ben.
10U. I'm keeping it in Florida. Those Apex Elite Jags, man. Another team that was just so fun. They had so many receivers. Weston Reeves, that Apex Elite quarterback, he was impressive.
Yep.
I've got them up there. I think they were nice. Obviously, DEF CON would have a say in that, I think. So hopefully DEF CON, hopefully we see you in Florida. I'm sure Coach Kevin and Apex Elite will be there. But 8U, it's going to DEF CON. I was impressed with what they did, and obviously to be able to battle in that overtime situation over HPA. HPA won our Waller tournament, so I think that was just a testament to their coaches, man, getting those guys ready and all the talent that they have out there. That's going to be a team to watch as they continue to grow up. I don't know if anyone wants to interject there with the 12, 10, and 8U, but those would be my picks for sure.
I was going to say the 8U. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
You can't leave out high-profile athletes. They're always there at the end. And no love for Orlando Elite. Come on.
I was going to say that. I was like, come on, Ben. What's going on, bro? That's the squad.
They always hanging around in the semifinals and finals.
I'm sorry, Coach Lee.
I'm
sorry. We'll see you this weekend. We'll
we'll make it right.
This is not final. These are not final yet. We're just talking. We're just having fun.
We're going to put the hammer down on you. No, I think the only team that I would say I would interject with you on 8U between DEF CON and what was your other team for 8U, you said?
HPA.
Oh, HPA. So I think DEF CON, I think Smith, he was one of those quarterbacks at the younger ranks where, I mean, he's the only quarterback that we've seen kind of, dialed up in the weather. Like, really, I mean, any other tournaments, it's been cold, but it's not been, mist and rain or just absolute kind of like bad rain. So I mean that has to speak volumes to what they've done to win that championship. Smith, Jace Johnson, McBride, like those are guys that are dogs. You know what I'm saying? So overall, I think it's going to be some good 8U ball.
All right, so that's just a little tease, just a little, just to let you know what's coming. And we're not just going to rank teams. We're also going to talk about coaches. Who's the best play caller that we've seen on the circuit? We kind of talked about it a little bit tonight. We're going to go more in depth when we're all back together. We appreciate Mark joining us. Technology's great, isn't it? Mark joining us from the Lone Star State. We're glad to have him here. Appreciate his time on this Friday night. So many different things he could be doing, but he couldn't stay away from us. He wanted to join us. I know he did.
No doubt. But let me say one thing about, I know we may not reveal names right now, but one thing I look at in a play caller, there's no playbook in his hands. There's no play sheet. He's just, and a lot of times they don't huddle. You know what I'm saying? And you guys will know the few guys that we're talking about when it comes to that play calling. Mm-hmm. There's no huddle. They're just giving the guys where they need to go. And it's either 1, 2, or 3, this and that. Those are the guys that really truly understand offense, and it shows that at the end of the weekend on Crown Sunday.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got 6 more tournaments coming up, including the Crown. This weekend we are in the Villages, Florida. Next weekend we head up north to Georgia. We'll be in the Atlanta area. 2 trips to the Midwest. Following that, we've got Oklahoma City and St. Louis, the St. Louis area, Edwardsville, Illinois, if you want to be exact. We'll follow that up with a trip to the DFW area to close out March. Then it's New Orleans, the first week in April. That'll be the tournament before the Crown National Championship. Again, that's April 12th and 13th here in the Villages. Looking forward to that. The best of the best will be competing there. We're looking forward to that. But we also had some news come out this week, and we're not just going to be doing DR7 on the boys' side. We've got girls flag football coming too. We're excited for that.
Sir.
That's a rapidly growing sport, and Mark, I know you're kind of in tune with that in the state of Texas. I got the chance to cover some of that in Florida, and it's going to be an Olympic sport in 2028, and it's by far the most rapidly growing sport, guys. So I'm excited to get in on that, and we'll have more news coming soon.
I'm about to say, if we're talking girls flag football, Alabama actually has one of the top programs in the nation in Central Phoenix City.
Ooh.
So number one, actually.
Okay.
So I wanted to throw that out there.
Okay.
We're talking about girls and flag football and stuff like that. Like,
Get it together,
Central
Kentucky.
Phoenix City, they are number one in the nation. So let's do it. Let's get it done.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
Anyone in Texas you want to shout out? My state doesn't do girls flag football yet, so they're behind the curve.
Oh, absolutely. The girls in Texas will be getting cranked up, I think, the end of March. I was talking to a couple of coaches the other day. It kind of started in Fort Worth ISD about 4 years ago. This will be the 4th year. It's starting to catch on in Dallas and North Dallas. So it's one of those things when it starts to catch on, the floodgates open.
Yep.
But also you got to look at the chance that these girls get a chance to go to the next level and play college flag football. So they have an opportunity to do that. I know that Georgia and Florida, has been, spearheading those type of things for the girls. It was at the Pro Bowl this year as well. So I can't wait to see that. I did see that announcement, and it's a big thing. They'll be getting the ball if they get the call type things from that that aspect with the girls.
I love it. Details definitely to come soon, so check those out on the DR Sports social media pages and give us a follow. Give us a like here on this video. Subscribe to the channel. You're going to want to turn those notifications on because we've got streams coming, not just on Crown Sunday, but tomorrow as well. In the 18U ranks, we will have Team Tampa taking on 229 Elite. 14U, we have the 813 Hawks. We talked about them and that program. They've got a fun matchup coming up. A lot of trash talk on social media with them and TMS. So that's going to be fun. And then the 8U championship as well. Coach Lee can rub my face in it if the Orlando Elite comes out on top, since I didn't mention him here. But that'll be tomorrow, and then we'll have the 10U all the way up to the 18U championships coming your way here on the channel on Crown Sunday. So make sure you stay tuned to that. Guys, any final thoughts before we close things out and go get some food here?
I just think that we're in for some more good ball. I think we have 90 plus teams, correct? So so 91 teams confirmed to come. So it's going to be another big tournament that we're going to have. I can't wait. I think this is the first time this year that we'll actually get a chance, or at least me, get a chance to see 24K. So that's a team that I've got a chance to see 14, 15, I believe 18U as well. But overall, man, I just think that we're in for some good ball, good weather, and just can't wait to see it.
Adam, Mark, any final thoughts before we close out here?
I would say,
I'm looking at that 18U bracket. Don't sleep on those St. John's Cobras and Jake West.
Yeah.
If they got everybody in the house, they could give everybody in this bracket a run of their money. I see Gridiron Elites in there, Apex Elite, 229 Elite. But that's my sleeper team coming out of the St. John's Cobras. They got everybody in there. Jaden Weatherly, one of those guys that's been rising in the ranks on the DR7 circuit. So that's a sleeper. I'm looking at some of these teams in there. Don't count on St. John's Cobras.
Okay, I like it. Adam, close us out here.
I'm going to say this. With a lot of teams now, we're officially in March. This is beginning of the heart of the 7-on-7 season. Everyone's rosters are full. There's no excuses anymore. There's no excuses. So whoever's the champion is a real champion this weekend and from here on out, because we're getting close to the crown pretty soon.
I like smoke, man. That smoke.
We'll see how that impacts your rankings moving forward since you put that out there.
I always tell people all the time, prove me wrong. I love it. Prove me wrong. If I didn't mention you, prove me wrong and change my mind later.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, not only do you get a trophy if you win the tournament this weekend, you also win a free paid bid to the Crown National Championship, which will return here to the Villages April 12th and 13th. So that's what's at stake. Free paid bid to the Crown for your program if you win. And the Crown is coming up April 12th and 13th here in the Villages, Florida. So looking forward to that. Hey, big thanks to Mark Henry for joining us here, taking some time away from his Friday night. Of course, for CJ Gilbert, Adam Sandoval, I'm Ben Spicer. Thanks for tuning in here on the DR Roundtable. It's time for us to go get some food. We'll see you tomorrow on the turf at the Villages.